What's up guys? In this video, I'm going to be going over the exact blueprint I wish I had when I first started selling on TikTok, and is what I'm currently using right now launching brand new products. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Varo. I have done close to $1 million in sales as a TikTok shop affiliate, and now I'm a seller doing over 200k months. So I've been on both sides of the game. But here's the thing, there's a short window right now for TikTok shop for sellers to come in and take some real market share before the competition just gets too crazy. And I'm not going to say it's going to get oversaturated, but it will get harder. And in this training, I'm going to be going over how to find winning products, building a brand people remember, getting that brand made, and getting that product in the hands of creators that will make sales. So go ahead and grab a notebook. Make sure you have some time to spare. If you do not have time, just save this video, like it, save it for later. Do not watch it in 2x speed. That's a bad habit of mine. But honestly, a video like this, you should sit down and watch it thoroughly just so you understand every part of it. But without any further notice, let's go ahead and start deep diving into the blueprint I'm currently using. All right, this is going to be my entire TikTok shop playbook. Like I mentioned, there's everything I'm using currently for launching new products. And just for my track record, this is 247,000 in the last 28 days, and this was taken today. Today's August 10th. And I did mention I have multiple shops. There's the first shop I ever launched. We're at 200k for this year already, and this one's pretty much only on autopilot. I have it managed by someone, but I'm no different than you, right? I wanted to include these pictures because some people might look at people and be like, okay, they just got lucky. Um, they're just better than me. They just have different opportunities. No, I am no different than you. I'm no better than you. This was me in 2017, I believe. I was working at Popeyes, not really out of necessity, just out of wanting money, to be honest. I've been working since I was 14. I'm 24 now, so that's a decade of hard work, very hard work, to be honest. Popeyes, construction, a lot of fast food joints. But now this is me in 2025. I'm stuck in the office 10 to 12 hours a day, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I love the life I live. But yeah, that's the track record. And just to show you that I'm no different than you, I'm no better than you. You could do way better than me. I'm pretty sure you have way higher potential than me. So go ahead and crush me. But there's gonna be the A to Z full guide on my playbook for TikTok shop. This took me a ton of hours, so hopefully you guys enjoy this. But let's go ahead and just get started into it. First off, I want to make sure you have the right mindset going into this. We're living in a gold mine. Yes, we did miss Amazon. Yes, we missed Shopify. But you have to take full advantage of this current gold mine of TikTok shop. That's us. That's us right there discovering TikTok shop, and it's insane. Now, honestly, I would go as far as say as the TikTok gold mine is way better than Amazon, way better than the Shopify drop shipping, So take full advantage. And just to show you the gold mine that we're living in, we're doing 200k months. These brands are doing 200k days. I took this screenshot from Fastmoss. This was from yesterday, 8/9. Goldie's doing 220k, Popmart 228k, Halara 233k, Medicube 239k, in a single day. That goes to show you the growth that I have to make because I'm nowhere near the big dogs in the space. And if you're starting from zero, that should hype you up because 0 to 10k is way bigger than 10k to 100k, right? So you should be really hyped up if you're starting from zero or close to zero, because the potential that TikTok shop alone has is insane. And we're not even talking about other channels yet, right? Strictly TikTok shop. But I do also want to say you have to be able to listen to everybody, right? Don't think that you're the best in the room. Don't think, even like, let's just say hypothetically, let's just say you are. Don't ever think that, because that's not the right mindset to have. You need to have the best mindset for this, especially because with TikTok shop, things are always changing. You're always going to be learning, In my opinion, things are changing every single month. Algorithm wise, content wise, you always have to adapt or die. And this is how I have it structured on who I listen to: strangers, affiliates, then customers. Sometimes strangers and customers are combined, to be honest, because customers are strangers, strangers are customers. But affiliates, you should be listening to them because at the end of the day, those are your points of sales, right? Those pretty much are your salesmen, and treat them very well. But yes, have the best mindset with TikTok shop, right? Don't be like, oh, I think I'm too late. Dude, we're only like 2 years in. Imagine being 2 years into Shopify dropshipping. Imagine being 2 years into Amazon FBA. Like, we'd be, oh my God, looking back at it now, right? Imagine being able to buy Bitcoin when it was $1,000, right? Back then, people were probably like, I'm not paying $1,000 for that. Now, with the information we have now, going back, we'd be like, maxing out our credit cards, going into every single bank, getting loans, and that's TikTok Shop in my opinion, right? We know the potential it could have, it will have in my opinion, just because of the previous data we have from other channels, right? So we know the bar, TikTok's not near the bar. So we're like, okay, there's still this gap right here that will be filled just by previous data. So let's go ahead and take advantage of that gap that's missing right there. But yeah, mindset is very huge. Now we're gonna go straight into it with product research. Good versus bad product. Now, on this example right here, I have colored pencils and it just solves no problem, right? No massive problem. No one's dying of colored pencils, you know? So it just would be a horrible product to launch. People are already killing in the space because they're just evergreen brands. Let's just say like Crayola. It's going to be hard to compete with Crayola because like the effort to success rate is going to be very low, right? Let's just say the effort you make, I could do half of that with another product and crush you numbers wise, right? And at the end of the day, we want revenue, right? And I think you just can't really have no brand awareness with something like this, which matters a lot, right? When someone looks at, let's just say, a color palette, um, your logo, your name, you want people to remember you, right? People say goalie, everybody thinks about them. People say ashwagandha, people think about goalie, which is nuts. Think about it, an ingredient. Someone says ashwagandha, people think about goalie, right? That might be an extreme, but it's true. And right here, I also have a good product, beef tallow. Solves a massive problem. It solves multiple problems, right? If you have acne, use beef tallow. If you don't like lotions having 1,000 ingredients, use beef tallow. It solves multiple big problems, right? Not a small problem where like, hey, I have a piece of paper that I want to draw something on, but in color, right? That's like a really micro problem. And it's a quick entry to a big TAM, total addressable market. Like the skincare market is huge, right? So if you could enter a huge market with a product that no one's really doing in the like the wells of the space, right? Let's just say a top 5 skincare brand probably isn't going to launch beef tallow anytime soon. One, it is risky, right? They need to have some data there from the market, right? There's just no real data yet. That's why the small players could come in and dominate. Then they end up being the big brand, which is amazing. I love that. And minimal effort if it's done right. And I say minimal effort because you just have to get the branding right, get the product to good quality, and at the end of the day, your affiliates will sell it. And when something's selling, other affiliates will come flocking like birds and be begging for samples, right? And it's great because one affiliate kills it, 10 more affiliates come from them. Those 10 affiliates kill it, 10 more come from them. And I just love the flywheel because everybody's making money. We're making money as a brand. The affiliates are making money as affiliates, getting commission. Everybody's happy. And that's why I think this market, this opportunity is insanely different from, let's just say, Amazon, from Shopify, just because like there's another person getting rich as well that's coming from the outside, if that makes sense. With Amazon, Bezos was getting rich. With Shopify, I don't know who owned it, but like the payment processor was getting rich. With TikTok, there's affiliate getting rich as well, right? Which is amazing. I love that. But branding is a big part of the product research. If you can't be unique with your branding, it'll be hard to succeed, in my opinion. Like if you have something very bland, like there's a ton of beef tallow brands that are just like very bland. Some of them might just only say beef tallow. I'm like, dude, you need to stand out, right? And obviously, trust, design, value, strategy, logo, marketing, advertising, identity, that all helps with your branding, right? Let's just say your branding is like holistic. People will maybe search up holistic beef tallow, for example. It's probably a horrible example, but people will search something up related to what that branding is, and your product will come up, right? Because it's just so unique, which is amazing. And I do want to say knowing your target audience for branding is huge, right? Like in my opinion, I brought out another example of beef tallow, but like that last one right there, I love it. That beef tallow for skin, this one right here. I think this is honestly the best branding out of all of them, but it's horrible branding for the target audience they're trying to hit, in my honest opinion. With beef tallow, you're trying to hit the person that is tired of their skincare. They're breaking out because of their moisturizer having 1,000 ingredients. Or like, hey, I want to try something with one ingredient, two ingredients, three ingredients. And this screams clean, simple, professional. This one doesn't, to be honest. This one screams like it's for kids. But I do love this branding. It's just not hitting the right target audience, right? Especially for like the TAM of beef tallow is pretty small compared to just moisturizer, right? So you have to play this very, very strategically. Like this brand right here, Amalo, they could maybe launch a beef tallow for kids now, and they'll crush this one. And in my opinion, this one does look like it's for kids, but I just really like that branding. But they'll just crush them because they made a brand awareness already. People already know Amalo. A tons of people are buying this. I believe like 10 or 15K people are buying this every single month. It's insane. They'll have natural spillover buying that kids version and crush this last one right here. But like I said, good branding, bad branding, pretty much. So great branding, but it's horrible for the target audience. And this one's the best one for target audience. It's like you ask two different people. One person will say, this is stupid, I hate it. Another person will say, I love this. And that's just because you need to know your target audience. Whether you like it or not, like that shouldn't be the deciding factor for your branding, right? So sorry, I was just reading that. If you like the branding, let's just say I really like this branding, that doesn't mean I should launch that. It just doesn't. That's not how it works. I need to know who am I targeting for this brand initially, and target it specifically towards them, right? Market it, brand it just for them. Then eventually I could outgrow it, launch another SKU, change it up a little bit. It could be more general to the public. But at first, not the best way to do it, in my opinion. And softwares are great for just finding good brands, finding new products. I honestly don't think you need it, but Fastmoss is good for TikTok. Smart Scout's great for Amazon. You can see some brands that are killing on Amazon. Normally, brands that are killing on Amazon won't come into TikTok as of yet, just because it's still a new marketplace. There's still rumors that it gets banned, so they just don't want to take the risk, put the time and effort and money into it, where it could just get taken out next month, and there's no guaranteed success because it's a whole different ball game with Amazon and TikTok, right? It's organic marketing versus just ads being thrown into Amazon. But now let's go into valid products. This will be your BFF because it's my BFF, scrolling. But scrolling from a different lens, right? I use mainly Instagram and TikTok. You can scroll a little bit from Facebook, seeing what like the older audience is using, because Facebook's a little bit older audience. But you can see like the problems people are having, the solutions people are having outside of products, which is very interesting. That's a different lens. I've been looking at it recently. But those two will tell you a lot more than any software can ever tell you. And I've been loving it. Spot trends, don't spot products. Like I just mentioned, you could find problems and solutions not even related to products, and you could relate it to a product. And being that early into something, you'll be able to get products from trends and not copy others, like just by being late, right? It's not terrible being second, third, fourth, and fifth, but if you could be first and be adapting, you will succeed, right? I honestly never say that you should be first. It doesn't really matter. Mark Zuckerberg wasn't first, Elon Musk wasn't first, but they were just second, third, or fourth, and they adapted heavily, right? So if you can be first and adapt heavily, you will succeed. Like it's very hard for you not to succeed as long as you put the time and effort into it. And also look into your routine. This is why I tell everybody, like whoever I'm talking to that wants to launch a product, I always tell them stop whatever you're doing for the next week. Just look at everything you're doing, hobbies you're doing, things you're buying, or also look at the things that you've bought in the past that you repeatedly buy. Let's just say I buy things like every single month. Like I buy a mouthwash every single month. So I'm like, okay, interesting. So I know a good amount about mouthwashes, right? Like I've tried this brand, I've tried that brand. What makes a good mouthwash? What would I prefer it to taste like? What would I prefer to feel like? Do I want to take something out of from it? So that's going to be your best friend to deciding on what kind of product you want to launch, because it's a product that you're going to know a lot about, right? It's not something that you're just looking at a software and you're like, hey, I think Fastmoss told me that beef tallow is crushing it right now, so let me go ahead and contact the beef tallow manufacturer. You will always be late doing that, and it'll be very hard for you to succeed with big numbers, right? Getting to 50, 100, even 200K months, it's probably doable doing that. But let's just say getting some real big numbers, like those numbers that we were just seeing from brands, right? 200K days. Those you do have to be early. You do have to be adapting very quickly, right? And that's what I'm trying to do now. So I'm telling you the playbook I'm currently doing. Right? I'm looking at the stuff I'm using every single day. And honestly, most products can work. Don't ever look at a product that you're currently using and you're like, I just don't think it's big enough. No. I have a friend right now. He's launching something in the sports space. It's like wipes, but it's mainly for like people in sports, but also if you go outdoor camping and stuff like that. There's only like one real competitor, and they're not really even doing big numbers. but I'm just so confident he's going to crush it. He's going to grow that TAM. And it's not even going to take much effort just because of the backstory it has with him owning the brand, right? He's a jiu-jitsu head. He's a wrestling head. He's been doing it damn near all his life. So like people will fall in love and resonate with that story. And it's a problem people have, right? A ton of people do jiu-jitsu. A ton of people do wrestling. He's have this problem. And the only solution is that single brand. So he just made it better, fairly priced. So in my opinion, it's very hard for you not to succeed when there's a product like that. And this is just showing you right here the TAM, total addressable market, serviceable available market. The TAM is the most important one. You just want to make sure it's a big enough TAM. I always try to go for anything over like just say 500 mil or a bill, just because all I want is 10% or even 5% of a TAM, and I'm extremely happy. That's kind of the goal for I'm going for right now. But branding, this is crucial. Like I said, part to dial down for TikTok specifically. These are all TikTok products right here, and we're gonna break down every single one. Evil Goods, the brand name has you thinking. Evil Goods, like evil goods. Is it evil? Is it good? Is it evil? Is it good? It's very hip to be honest, but I really do like it. I do think it has you thinking. It has one of the best looking women ever. I think that's like a factual statement, right? Marilyn Monroe was like considered one of the best looking women ever. So, and it's a skincare product. So it's pretty much saying, without saying it, hey, use this, you will look like her, right? Like you could say that's an extreme as well, but they're pretty much saying that without saying that. And that's huge, right? Because there's no claims there. They just have a model figure there, right? And that's key. This is done extremely well. Shout out to people that own Evil Goods. They're just crushing it. And Kind Patches. This one's been coming out recently. They're a Europe brand, I believe, and they just came into the US. They sold 300k units of a single SKU in like 2 months. So insane, right? But Kind Patches is just straightforward. Kind Patches. It's just patches that you put on your skin, and some of them have like energy. So like this one might have caffeine or something like that. And Simple gives premium, especially for something like this. I would consider this like in the supplement space, and it's not a premium price tag. Like this thing costs $10 or $15. It's insane. So that's why you run through so much. That's why they've been able to sell 300k units in 2 months, right? Because the price point compared to like the premium feel it gives, you feel like you're getting a discount. You feel like you're getting a steal, right? Like, oh my God, I feel like I'm robbing them pretty much, right? So I really like this branding. I'm a fan of like keeping simplistic brandings, to be honest. Like I do like the Evil Goods, but like simple brandings like this, I love it because in my opinion, you could sell it at a high price point and like the value is there, right? As long as you're making the product the right way, just brand it premium. That's better. And Yerba Magic, another one that's crushing it. The word magic gives any interpretation, right? You could magic what? Like magic energy, magic lose weight, you know? It could be bad also, but you just have to dial it down with your marketing, and they dialed it down extremely well. Having a woman on the bag, this product was promoted for women on losing weight, even though like I think Yerba Magic or Yerba Mate does give energy as well. But you see, like for me, I used to drink Yerba Mate drinks for energy. Like they're promoting it for weight loss pretty much, and then they sold like 600k units, I believe, in less than a year. Insane, right? And it just all goes down to your marketing, but obviously who controls that? Yes, the affiliates, but who helps them, right? Who gives them a brief? You do as a brand, right? Who starts posting the first few videos? Pretty much you do as a brand. Whether it's you, the brand owner, whether it's a friend, whether it's a family member, whether it's a hire, you're pretty much posting it because you're giving them the ideas, you know? So that matters a lot. Another one that's done well, Snore, the brand name, it speaks about the problem it's solving, right? Snore. It's going to help you from snoring, right? So I really love things like that where like the problem or the solution is considered into the name. I do like that. And same thing, Simple. It gives premium without the premium price tag. And I know some people do argue that, hey, if you're trying to go premium but you're not charging premium, that kind of bump heads. I disagree with that. Obviously, I do think that's not a problem. I think that the customer sees it as more value to them because they're like, hey, this looks premium compared to the other premium one, but this one's half the price. So I think the customer will 100% always go with this one, right? So it's always hard with like branding now, especially with TikTok, because the old way of branding was use specific colors if you're trying to hit this demographic, if you're trying to hit this pain point. But now honestly, I don't think that matters, to be honest. Like in my honest opinion, I don't think any of these four brands thought about the color they were using, how someone is going to feel once they look at the color and stuff like that. I honestly fully disagree. Now at this point, I really like really flashy colors because you want to pop out on like your Amazon page, right? Like shout out to Noct. They're a sleep gummy, but they're red. When you search up sleep gummy, they're pretty much the only like they pop out, right? You that's the first thing you pretty much see because it's red. Everybody else is like purple, blue, really subtle colors. So I really do like popping out. And what do these all have in common? They have a unique look, right? When you search something up, let's just say you search up beef tallow, these will look unique. Kind patches, these will look unique. Besides like the people that are trying to drop ship this exact product, right? Like obviously they probably have like Evil Goods, and they probably name it like something else, and they're just drop shipping it from China, right? So if they're just trying to copy the branding, just because the branding is there, right? Like people pretty much get scammed from fake Evil Goods product because they put Marilyn Monroe on their stuff and it sells because people know like, oh, this image is correlated with this brand and this brand is crushing it, it's great, so I'm gonna buy it because it's 50% off on this shady website. Right? It's crazy how people still fall for that, but yeah. So branding matters so much, and name matters, colors, story behind the brand. Story behind the brand is like a big factor in my opinion that I always like including. So that's why I only launch products that I use or I have used or family members use, because I like there's a story behind it, right? I'm not just launching a product just to launch a product because I know it will crush. Like if I know a product will crush, there will be a story there. Trust me. But now let's go into improvements in the market. Like I mentioned, try to make it 10 times better or perceived that way. When I say perceived that way, I'm not trying to say like lie to the people, but sometimes less is more, right? And I'll give you some examples right here. 35 sticks of gum right here. This probably goes for like $7. Underbrush sells for $30. It's one single pack. Only clean ingredients. They're charging 10 extra price and they're crushing it. They're crushing it on TikTok Shop. They're crushing it now on Amazon. It's insane. And you know why? Because it's a better for you product, right? People don't really mind paying 10x for something where like, okay, I enjoy chewing gum, but this gum will also help me fix my teeth and it's pretty clean. That's insane compared to just chewing gum just for the flavor, right? Like that's the old way of things. And this is what I mean by adapting or die. Like this brand right here is obviously they're gonna do well. They're always gonna do well because they're a brand that's been around for decades probably at this point. But are they ever gonna come out with something like Underbrush? Probably not. Right? So Underbrush doesn't really have competition besides other like small businesses that are trying to come out with clean gum, which is great at the end of the day because I'm always a fan of better for you products, but there's like no real competition with heavy hitters. Like you're going to be fine. You took market share already, right? And which is what I love. Another example right here is what I was talking about. Evil Goods, better ingredients. I think this is a similar price. I've never used CeraVe. I think this maybe goes for like $15. Evil Goods is like 2x the price, maybe 3x the price, but it's way cleaner. I think Evil Goods only has like 5 ingredients, 6 ingredients. CeraVe probably has like 30 ingredients, right? Like that's a way bigger than 10% improvement, right? I just say 10% minimum because sometimes some products you're trying to launch, let's just say if I was trying to launch a clean gum, it's very hard for me to make it any better than they did because they took so much time making that formula the best it could possibly be. So like now I have to just look for anything that they missed that I could possibly make better or even remove, right? To make it 10 times better. I have some other examples right here. Like I mentioned, sometimes less is more. We took a step back to go forward. We had like the regular toothbrushes right here, but you guys remember electric toothbrushes? Well, there was a whole scandal. People saying like, oh, you're putting EMFs in your mouth and stuff like that. Some people still talk about it, but I used to use electric toothbrushes. Now I just use one of these, a little wood toothbrush, to be honest, because I just like to be pretty healthy anywhere I can. But yeah, like these people probably charge 5x the price. I think I paid $40 for 3 toothbrushes. I could probably buy like 3 toothbrushes for $1 if I go to like a store right now, which is an insane gap price wise, like really insane. That goes to show you that like how are these brands making any type of money? But it's because like you're putting real time and effort into making these, right? Like really high quality. Bristles are really clean. They're not made out of plastic compared to the other ones where they're just mass made. But yeah, sometimes taking a step back is going forward. And whenever you're looking at products that you want to launch, always look at like, hey, maybe I need to remove something. And that's why I'm a big advocate, like I mentioned, to looking at products that you're currently using so you could maybe launch those products, because maybe you're using something and you're like, hey, I think this phone, like it's kind of useless if it has a USB-C port. It's dumb, because I have wireless charging. Like, why do I need a USB-C, right? So always look at like things like that. You could add or improve, but you could also remove to make it even better, right? Just for a better customer experience. And like I mentioned, making a product better doesn't always mean changing it. Going back is sometimes huge, because at the end of the day, being functional matters more than like being extreme. Like toothbrushes that play sound and are electric and also have flavor to them. Like, that's extreme. Like, people don't really want that, right? You're just adding stuff to add stuff at this point, just so you could change it, just so you could change stuff. Pretty much, don't just try to change products. When you're trying to do that and not really like looking at the improvement aspect, it's just going to be really hard for you to succeed, because it's just, you're doing too much at that point for the product images. Now, honestly, I don't do too much of AI for product images. ChatGPT is cool just for some iterations, stuff like that, but my go-to right now is always Fiverr. I have used some professional photos, but to be honest, 3D renderings are fire. A lot of top brands use them, and you just gotta go with someone decent. With Fiverr, there's so many options, but like these pictures right here, the picture sells more than the products itself. So obviously, get some good pictures made. Like, get someone good from Fiverr. Fiverr's cheap. You go through like 2-3 people, you get unlimited revisions. Keep asking them, keep telling them what you want change. But like, products sell more than the image. Like, look at these gruns. Like, it has greens in the back, has strawberries in the back. Like, I don't like, most people probably don't read the title until after they see the image and click the product, right? If people just scroll, they scroll because of the image. It just doesn't look good. Let Me Chill, same thing. They have fruit and stuff like that. It looks fine, looks amazing. This is my like graph on what I do whenever I'm launching a product. I'm launching 2 more right now, so I'm doing this currently. Branding based AI. When I say AI, I mean Adobe Illustrator. I'm heavy involved in the branding aspect, so maybe you're not like the biggest creative person, which is fine. I would say try to find a friend that is, and just like bounce ideas off of them. But also, you have a big friend within ChatGPT. So just ask ChatGPT, hey, I like this branding from this competitor, but I think we could change this. Like, can you give me some iteration and stuff like that? But since I'm heavily involved, this is what I do. I make a mock-up in Adobe Illustrator. Then I use ChatGPT for inspiration. I throw that mock-up in ChatGPT. I'm like, hey, can you make some changes? How could you make this better compared to the competitors? Then I get some Fiverr mock-ups made. I get like 2 or 3 different people. Now I have like a decent list that I like going back to. Get 2 or 3 different people. I tell them, make the exact AI file I sent you into a 3D render, but could you also make like 2 other iterations that you could think could be better? Because at the end of the day, like, those Fiverr people are living and breathing Adobe Illustrator and 3D rendering. So I'm like, okay, you're pretty creative. I want to see what your thought process is. What would you change on the product, right? Because at the end of the day, I don't think I'm the best at things. I just think that I'm pretty creative, and a lot of people are pretty creative, and we all have different um, lenses with that. So I always like seeing other people's lenses. Then at that point, I just get the final designs made. I choose someone from Fiverr. But honestly, like, you could get all your product images done for 150 bucks, and they'll look really nice. They'll look decent. They'll look postable. So I think that's really good, especially when you're running on a budget, because spending $500 $1,000 for product images sometimes just doesn't make sense. And even now, right now we're not working on a budget anymore, and I'm not spending $500 or $1,000 for photo shoots, because allocating money where it's needed is the smartest thing you could do. Doesn't matter if you have a budget or not, right? Like, if you have $1 million, doesn't mean you should spend $1 million on photos, right? Obviously, that's an extreme, but allocating money where it's gonna give you the highest return, and doing that at the right time is like the 2 hardest things I've been trying to figure out recently. Because, like I mentioned, the photos, right? If I do that in 4 months, once this specific brand is cash flowing, then yes, it makes sense, because I can use those photos on TikTok, on Shopify, on Amazon. But right now, it probably doesn't make sense, because the photos are somewhat decent from Fiverr, right? Like, in my opinion, I'm saying somewhat decent, but they're really good. Some of them are really good depending on your product. And like, those extreme photo shoots aren't needed right now. But in a couple months, once this specific brand is cash flowing, you're like, hey, let's just throw a couple dollars at it, because the business itself is cash flowing. So I'm always big on allocating money and resources where it's going to give you the highest return. And if there's nowhere to put it yet for the highest return, don't put it anywhere. That's totally fine, right? It's better for it to be at the bank than someone else's bank. But these are other examples. When I'm talking about product images, I'm not just talking about hero images, I'm talking about all images. Both of these are giving you the benefits. Only one is selling the product. At Groons, obviously, is crushing it. They just raised money at a $500 million valuation. Insane. But yeah, both of these are telling you the benefits. But dude, like Groons is selling you so much more than this brag. Sorry for this brag brand, but I'm sorry, but this photo itself is just not a great photo in my opinion. This one's telling you caffeine free, science backed, boost your brain health. Right? It pretty much is only telling you one thing it's going to do versus this other brand. And this one looks so much better, right? Obviously, we didn't go through every single photo they had, but just by this photo alone, like Groons is on top, right? Obviously, it's a different product as well, but I'm just saying when you're choosing your product photos, always make sure that you have a few lifestyle ones, you have a few product itself ones. Like, dude, this one's a mixture of lifestyle and also the product itself. It's showing you the little gummy bear, right? Like this one is not showing me the pills. Yeah, obviously the hand model is nice. I do like hand models. That's nice, but it's very bland. Bold text underline. I made this. This is pretty much what I made. I'll make this on Adobe Illustrator right now, right? You do not want to have images that look like you made them. And that's what I do right now for product images, for all my product images. And for getting like, let's just say lifestyle photos, if you're in a brain fart and you can't really think on what you should do, one, ask ChatGPT. It's your best friend, like I mentioned. But also look at your competitors and see how you can make it better. Because let's just say Groons. Their product is pretty much just greens. This photo, probably not the best lifestyle one. I'd probably do, let's just say, a girl that looked like she just got out of bed, but doesn't look crazy, right? Like maybe in her pajamas and just taking the gummy every single morning. That looks like that fits the lifestyle a lot more because maybe Groons, like, greens, normally you take them every single morning. So you want the person to look like they're taking them every single morning. That sells the lifestyle more. Right? But this picture itself kind of screams like he's taking it like on his break from work. That product does this as well, right? Like this is not something that is a powder that you have to mix into water and stuff like that. Like this is just a gummy you could put in your pocket and eat it later at work. So honestly, this photo is still great. Now sourcing. This is the big part. Sourcing overseas. Alibaba is a great starting point, and I'm going to give you some do's and don'ts. Do's, make sure they're Alibaba insured. Honestly, this is what I do at least. Maybe someone else will tell me like, hey, you don't need to do that. That doesn't matter. But I just like the insurance on it. Make payments on Alibaba directly. If they're telling you, hey, can you pay me outside? Just leave them. Like, no, do not pay outside of Alibaba, especially on the first order. And check their history on Alibaba. Most of them, like sales-wise, will have a short history just because, honestly, like after a few orders, everybody will just start wiring them. And probably not everybody, but you do save a couple dollars doing that. But like there's a time on Alibaba. That's huge. Now some don'ts. Do not wire for your first order, right? Like just do not do that. You have no insurance. You're pretty much screwed. Let's just say if they start delaying on you, they never ship your order and stuff like that. And ensure they fully understand your requirements, right? Like sometimes there's just like leakage in communication just because of the language barrier. So I always like triple check, like, hey, Aria, like, do we both know that this is needed for this product and we change this, right? I just want to make sure that you guys are doing that, because if they make 10,000 units and maybe like there's miscommunication, like it does suck and it is their fault, but at the end of the day they didn't do it like out of hatred, right? So you do like I don't know, it's weird case scenarios, and it's happened with us before. Our specific case scenario was we were kind of rushing them, which obviously is our fault, but we had a set quality, right? Like we were like, okay, this is the quality we're expecting, and that was the bar. They fell below that just because they said like we were rushing them. And fair, granted, they're right, but they're wrong because I was rushing you. But obviously I was telling you like, hey, please get it done in time, like please get it done by next week. But I wasn't telling you like, hey, cut corners, right? Maybe that was the solution you found, but like obviously I wouldn't agree with that. And also max pay 30% deposit. Sometimes 50% is what people ask for, but like we recently just paid a 10% deposit on the brand. I think it was like a month ago, and then we just fully paid it now. But yeah, we obviously always negotiate, like don't do it out of bad blood. But if you could get 10% down, that's great for the cash flow, especially because some things might take like a month or two to actually get made. So you don't want 30% of your money just sitting on inventory where it's not being sold yet. At least that's the point of view I look at it. But it's what's needed. Everybody's going to require a deposit, whether that's overseas or in the States. Deposit will be needed. If you can negotiate that deposit down, that's the best place to be. And for Alibaba, you could create a RFQ, and that's great because that's a request for quotation. I believe that's what it stands for, and that's where you can just put what you're looking for, and a ton of people will contact you. I wish there was something like that for in the States. There might be. I'm not aware of it, but this is great because you can just post exactly what you're looking for, down to the material, down to the ingredients, how much you're trying to buy, what's your target price, and they'll all come messaging you, telling you like asking for more details if you're not detailed enough. For the RFQs, I would say try to be as detailed as possible, unless like you're really trying to keep the product. But honestly, that doesn't really matter. When people are trying to gatekeep products, it doesn't matter. So try to be really detailed as possible, and just so they don't have to ask you questions, they could just be like, hey, this is our price. And that's the best place to be, because you're like, okay, I think that price is good, send me a sample. Then you just pay the shipping label and you get a sample. And now we're going to be talking about sourcing in the States. Honestly, I'm all for ChatGPT on this. I just ask it, hey, I'm looking to get a gummy made, could you just send me like top manufacturers in my area? Let's just say I'm currently in Las Vegas, could you send me some that are close to Las Vegas? It doesn't really matter, right? We have manufacturers that are in Miami, that's totally in the opposite end. But if it's close, it'd be nice, I could just go and meet them and go look at the facility, see if we could maybe work together. But this is my workflow. I first contact, find the best and cheapest. Now, I do want to say, when I say cheapest, I'm not saying like cheapest ingredients. I'm saying like, this is the formula. This is what I want. Who has the best price? I'm just using the word cheapest, but I just want to clear it out for clarification. Then from there, I get samples. Then I choose one order. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. You don't have to complicate it after that. Sometimes this process right here, the contact to finding the best and cheapest, takes a while because people in the US move extremely slow. Granted, it's because they're dealing with bigger customers. Some of them are dealing with customers spending hundreds of thousands, millions a month. So, our small orders not really grabbing their attention, but obviously they will still give us time of day because that's the business. And for in the States, I maxed out 5 manufacturers for receiving these samples, just because anymore you do like kind of false promise for those manufacturers. At the end of the day, I don't want to contact 10 and be talking to 10, just because I know if I contact 10, that's going to take so long, right? Like I mentioned, everybody works so slow compared to Alibaba. People overseas work so quick, which I'm extremely happy for. Yeah, I maxed out on 5. Then from there, I narrow it down to 3. From there, I decide on who's the best, cheapest, and fastest. And I think I do talk about this here, but I do say always paint the long-term vision, especially big in the US, because you'll probably pay like a hefty price when you're only ordering 1,000 or 5K units. So you always want to paint that vision of like, hey, I know I'm only ordering 1,000 units now, but I do plan to buy, 2,000 every single month by 3 months in, stuff like that. Obviously, that you could just take a projected guess from your competitors. So let's just say you're launching a brand new brand that some competitors doing 5,000 units sold a month. You're like, hey, I think I could do at least 10 or 20% of them. So like, I'm gonna buy 2,000 units every other month, right? Just so you could like never worry about selling out and stuff like that. So that's fair, because at the end of the day, you need to also have a forecast depending on your lead times. Like if your lead times 2 months, then you're like, okay, in those 2 months, like what's the average I'm selling? Let's just say if you're selling 1,000 a month, that's 2,000 right there. So you should be ordering 2,000 extra, whatever you're ordering already, right? Just because you do not want to be sold out for that forecast. And that's just dialing down your manufacturing time is the biggest thing. But yeah, painting the long-term vision is huge, especially for in the States. And I do think I talk about this right here. Final decision. You should pick 3 manufacturers from your initial list. And this is what I was talking about. The cheapest, the quickest, the best. Sometimes the best is combined with the cheapest or the quickest, which is amazing. But yeah, try to pick at least 3, just because you do not want supply chain issues. I had that. I hated it. I lost so much money. I lost money, potential sales, pretty much, so still sucks, because when your brand is getting momentum, especially on TikTok, you do not want to let it die down. If you let it die down, it'll be extremely hard to get it back up sometimes. And sometimes I said, like, obviously getting your supply chain issue, the problem comes at scale, but if you could solve it before it's like even existing, is amazing, and this is just right here, like showing you the chain of supply. First is raw material manufacturing, distribution, use, then end of life when people are done with it. But yeah, dialing this down is the toughest, because this and that is just hard, because sometimes like you could 10x your sales over month with TikTok Shop, right? Maybe your manufacturer doesn't have 10x the material, 10x the ingredients, so they have to wait from the raw material, from the raw ingredients, and who knows how long that takes, right? Because you know how long it takes for your manufacturer, if they have the supply. Maybe they don't, right? So just always checking up on that. That's like the biggest problem you should be focusing on, especially as you scale, because you do not want to sell out, right? It's kind of tough sometimes, because selling out is a good thing, because that means you're selling, but that means you're not selling as well because you sold out, so sometimes it's better for you not to have momentum, because it's not that hard to build momentum, but getting inventory in stock when you're out of stock is extremely hard. Like in my opinion, you should pay double pay double because maybe you'll still make something, but at least you're selling units, you know? But that's the verdict I do when I'm choosing the final decision. Like with every single brand we have, we at least have two manufacturers that we could order from. And I know one of them just has a really quick lead time. So like if things really start rolling, we're like, hey, we need units now because we have the potential chance of selling out. It's not worth us selling out. Let's order from this manufacturer. They could get it here in 2 weeks. Compared to our other manufacturer, it takes like a month and a half, you know? And we're happy paying like just say a 20-30% markup for that because it's not worth selling out because we're not making nothing compared to paying a little extra to make something, if that makes sense. But now setting up the shop, this is extremely easy, but in my opinion, this step right here, you should do this as soon as you think about launching a product because recently they've been giving out some violations. We've been seeing on the affiliate side, if you're an affiliate, on the seller side, same thing. And just getting accounts approved is just annoying right now. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it is pretty annoying. Now, what's needed, obviously, you need to be over 18, a U.S. government ID, social security number or EIN, LLC or bill documents, sorry. And what I've been using, I just been using my passport because I don't know why my ID is just getting hit or getting flagged. I do have multiple shops, so maybe that's a problem. But yeah, if the main problem is account rejected, like I mentioned, switch over the passport for verification. And if you can, switch over to a different bill. I think I used the light bill before. I've used the water bill, and yeah, those normally do pass. But the main problem I do be having is the ID. And keeping your account healthy is important. So I'm gonna give you some don'ts on to do. Do not use the word weight and ending. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I don't care if your product actually is for weights, and it's not even for weight loss, but just weight management or like weight gainer. Like do not use it anywhere. It's not worth it. And ship orders as quickly as possible as soon as they come in, especially when you're first starting out. When I was first starting out, and an order would come at 2 p.m. It would go through at 3. It would be dropped off at 3:30 just because I knew it was very important for the handling times to be really dialed in, especially at the start, because a negative review, a bad customer could really hurt your shop score, which is it is important, right? You do want to be a top seller with TikTok Shop. At the end of the day, you do want to be on their good side. And same thing with customer service. I try to respond to customer service honestly within the hour. Any longer, I am pretty mad at the team because we have a system. We have a system down. The team's always ready for it 24/7, and they should respond to it pretty quickly. Because if you don't respond to it within 24 hours, I think it hurts the response rate. And sometimes it's just someone, let's just say, asking for a free sample. Like we get like 15 people asking the shop, hey, can I get a free sample every single day? And obviously we just tell it the nice way. We only do free samples through a TikTok Shop affiliate. Feel free to request a sample through there, but that's the only place that, I can't just send you a free sample. You send me that address, but those are the don'ts. Don't respond to customers like over 10 hours. I worded that wrong, but yeah, I would say start your TikTok Shop account now because you don't have to pay for it. It's not like Amazon where you pay like $40 a month for the professional plan. You don't pay nothing for this, and it's just good having it there, in my opinion, because you are going to launch a product. And onboarding creators, this is the fun part. Let's just say you already have a product and you have it paid, it's coming now, so now you're focused on onboarding creators. Getting more creators does equal more sales because that's the only thing you can control. That's the only input you could control. You could control getting more creators. You could control sending out more samples. You can't control your sales. You can't be like, I feel like doing $10,000 in sales today. Let's go ahead and do that. Like, no, you have to reverse engineer and see what's going to get you there. And in my opinion, that's onboarding creators, because onboarding creators gets you more videos posted, and in turn, more videos posted get you sales, right? Videos posted is like the metric that we're heavily looking at in the micro. Like every single day, I know how many videos are posted for each brand that we have, because it's important for me. When I'm first launching a brand, I want at least 20 videos posted every single day. And that's only high. It's pretty high just because we have a good internal team. So we have about like 5 or 6 affiliates that are posting for our brands, and they'll start posting as soon as it gets live. Like I don't have to wait to send out samples. But let's just say even like your first month on shop, I would say you should hopefully aim for, let's just say, 200 videos posted. That's about 6-7 videos a day. And that's really good, especially when you're first starting out, right? And you can use the outreach bot. They're all pretty much similar, but I just like UIs, the UI being clean. So I use Uptick. Shout out to Sebastian and the team there. But yeah, just get an outreach bot, especially when you're first starting out, just because it works for you. While you're sleeping, it'll message creators, it'll get them onboarded, send them out samples and stuff like that, so you don't have to worry about it. And it's just another form of messaging people. And funnel everyone to your brand Discord, right? Build out a brand Discord, clean it up, always be active in there, funnel everyone. Like every sample, tell your sample, hey, join the Discord. I'll give you an extra 5% commission, right? Just funnel everyone there. And it's nice to have everyone in the Discord because then you could always ping them for anything. Let's just say your videos are dropping. Let's just say people are only posting 2 videos a day, but you have 50 people in the Discord, right? So you're like, hey, like, that doesn't make sense, doesn't add up. So just message the Discord like, hey, let's just do a quick little sprint. You know, if you post 5 videos, I'll give people $20, $50, something small. You don't have to do nothing big like Goalie. You know, Goalie does 30 videos, $500. You could do a couple videos, right? Just so you get videos posted. You know, you could be like, post 1 video a day for 5 days. That's 5 videos. I'll give you $50. That's really good. That means you're guaranteed at least 1 video a day from each creator as long as they do it. But in my opinion, they will do it with those type of sprints. Not saying those sprints are the best, but just something related to that is good because you do want videos posted. And the way you could compare your videos posted is by looking at how many creators you have. And honestly, looking at it on the back end of TikTok, you can't really see it from there because, like, let's just say our first brand we launched, I think we have like 30K affiliates that have it added to their showcase, but our Discord has a couple hundred. That's a drastic difference, you know? So in my opinion, I look at that couple hundred number more than like the 30K we have added to showcase, right? And having a great onboarding experience pays dividends. And obviously you can just tell by the graph. One affiliate tells another affiliate. That another affiliate tells 2 affiliates. Those 2 affiliates tell another 2 affiliates, right? And it's just like a funnel, right? Because if someone's having a great experience with your brand, they're gonna tell someone. It's the same way if someone's crushing it with your brand, people will see that person going viral with the video and start requesting samples from it, right? Like we see about a 5 to 10% percentage or like sample requests, which is insane. All right, so let's just say we have a video with 1 million views. 5% could be straight sample requests, like 5% of viewerships, which is insane. You know, not saying that all those sample requests will be good, but just seeing that spillover is absurd because let's just say maybe we paid a retainer for that video and we paid $20 for that video. $20 pretty much gave us, let's just say, 50 samples. That's a great return. On top of that video, still getting sales, right? So there's a lot of metrics that you could measure that are indirect, but you could still somewhat measure and take an assumption. You know, it's the same thing with like Amazon spillover. Let's just say you have a huge day, you got 50 million views on TikTok in a single day, like with a ton of videos. And let's just say you had a spike on Amazon that same day. You could kind of correlate the two, like, okay, I got a ton of videos, a ton of people were seeing the product. Some of them probably didn't want to buy it from TikTok, so they went over to Amazon and bought it on Amazon. Like, that's a great assumption to make because the data's there, right? Even though there's like no real metric to see, like, yes, these customers did come from TikTok and they bought on Amazon. Like, we have it tied here. You know, there's no pixel for that, but it's a great assumption. In my opinion, that assumption is 90% always right. But yeah, that's like the way I onboard creators. I always funnel them straight to the Discord. We always have a brand Discord made even before the product launches, to be honest, because now we just have like a little template. We copy and paste that template into every single brand. And we have always someone active in that Discord, trying to be active as much as possible, messaging people, telling them how they're doing, always following up, especially with retainers. If you paid someone before and let's just say like you guys just kind of keep the deal going, message them, say like, hey, how's it going? You know, like, are you still posting, stuff like that? We'll give you higher commission or we'll do like a sprint for you. But yeah, and price structure. This is the thing that I've been diving really deep into recently. I love being in the average or premium side now. When I first started launching products, I was like really on the cheap side because it's like the easiest way to differentiate yourself, but it's not the best way, right? You don't want to be the cheapest in the market. And free shipping, it helps with conversion, so you can offer it. If you can, do it. If you can't, it's fine. You know, my first product, it just didn't make sense for us to do free shipping because it's just something so cheap. So, and it does well. You know, I have tested out free shipping. You know, I added an extra dollars on the sell price. And I think I increased the sell price by 50% and I offered free shipping. We were getting the same amount of sales. And maybe it dropped a little bit, to be honest. I think it did drop a little bit because our CAC went a little higher, you know, so our cost to acquire a customer just skyrocketed a little bit. And that just didn't make sense, right? Because I'm like, hey, I'm offering free shipping. But the total number people are seeing is higher, right? Let's just say people are seeing $10 on the screen. Then at checkout, it's $15. But now, before checkout, they're seeing $15. So like they're kind of like, I'm like, it's $15. I kind of don't want to pay that price. Versus someone's that are like they're already at checkout screen. They might just be like, okay, it's shipping. In my opinion, I think most people are okay with paying with shipping because it's just a given at this point. You know, like not every single product is free shipping, and if it is, you're aware of it before you go to the cart, right? So that's like a little thought process that I go through. But there's just an example right here. If something's $20 free shipping or $20 5 shipping, they'll see 25 at checkout. That's normally a no if you if it's $20, you should be able to offer free shipping, versus 25 free shipping. That looks very nice. But at the end of the day, like I mentioned, once they go to the checkout screen, this number right here, $5 shipping, it's a given. They're like, if they see it, they're like, ah, fuck, I couldn't get free shipping. But with this, they're like, okay, I got free shipping, cool. They're happy. But in my opinion, they are pretty happy with both as long as the product is giving value. But now at this point, I do like giving free shipping because the products we're launching are at the $20 to $40 price point, which doesn't hurt margin that much compared to something at $10, right? Shipping could be 50%. Like, eats a 50% straight. Hey, that's insane, So always try to launch products that are in the $20 to $40 price point. If you could do higher, that'd be amazing. Now, obviously, with the pricing structure, we also have to talk about commission because we're talking about TikTok Shop. And 14% is the average. I think that's the average. I think Sebastian, he's a good friend of mine. The average should be 14, I think, entirety of TikTok US. Normally, I like staying around 20 to 30% just because it's a good commission rate. If you're selling something at $20, people could make 40 to 9. I mean, people could make $4 to $9, which is great because if they sell 100 units, 10 units a day, they'll make a good amount of money. And on ads, I do like to be half of my open plan. So let's just say if I'm 20% open plan, I do ads at 10%, just because we do spend a lot of money on ads. So I always make that well known as well with the affiliates we have. I'm like, hey, we're spending a ton of money on ads. Obviously, we have to drop down like the ads commission rate just because the 10% doesn't even make up for what we're spending, being realistic, So it does help though. And I highly disagree with high commission just because people look at high commission and on the seller side and be like, oh, dude, I'm giving this person 40% commission. Like, why wouldn't everybody want to promote my product? Well, the reason why no one wants to promote the product is because they're making more money on the 10% commission one, right? Like, you might say, like, how are they making more money? They're making more money because they're selling 1,000 units of a 10%. Let's just say they do 10,000 in sales, they get 10%. They get made 1,000. Versus you, maybe they only sell like 2 or 3 units at 40%, so they make like $15. It's crazy for 2 units, but at the end of the day, like, these people want to maximize their earnings, right? Like, they'll shoot for high commission on a product they're already selling, but high commission for like a product like that is like 20 to 30%. Maybe 40% if the brand really, like, if you really are connected with the brand. But like, making the incentive structure only high commission is really bad. In my opinion, a ton of affiliates would agree with me because a ton of affiliates are getting 40, 50, 60% products getting thrown at them, right? It just doesn't really matter because everybody's doing it at this point. So don't make that a differentiating factor for yourself for affiliates. And now we're going to talk about scaling past TikTok, which is the fun part. Once you have TikTok dialed in, it's going to go omni-channel. Being dependent on only one is risky. Our first brand we ever launched is only on TikTok, which sucks. That's the choice that we just had to make because we can't be on Amazon, sadly. The product is banned from Amazon. But yeah, that's why now every single product we're launching, we have to ensure that it's not banned on Amazon because, in my opinion, this is the funnel. Amazon's like it's right there in the funnel. Obviously, I have retail at the bottom, but that's just my opinion because I think being at retail is where like the big brands do succeed and thrive at. But now it's taking a little turn, like we're seeing David for the protein bar, we're seeing Groons, we're seeing Breeze. Like, those started in social, then went into retail, but they're still crushing it outside of retail as well. So like, retail's not needed, but I do think it helps with crushing it. And when you know it's a good time to start, like, let's just say going into another channel, in my opinion, I think it's when you have a good baseline of sales. So let's just say you're like, okay, I think we do, like, our baseline on TikTok Shop is 30K a month. Okay, like, if you're confident you're gonna stay at least 30K a month or higher, then start looking at Amazon, Walmart, start sending some inventory here and there. And obviously still also focus on scaling your TikTok because you focusing scaling your TikTok is a like byproduct. Other channels will grow, right? But let's just say if you first launch on TikTok Shop, it's probably not the smartest thing to try to launch everywhere else as well and try to like master every single thing. It's going to be extremely hard, especially like when you're running a really lean team and it's just you. So in my opinion, you should still also have inventory at Amazon. That's like the only place I would say like, hey, focus on TikTok, but have some inventory at Amazon, so, and we do that because we also run PPC ads. So it's something that I didn't talk about in this funnel right here because I'm only talking about TikTok Shop. But with the brands we're launching now, we're sending inventory straight into Amazon as well, just because it's the place I came from. I came from being an Amazon seller. I've been doing it for almost 3 years, and I know a good amount of PPC. I feel very good on my skill level with the ads on Amazon. So I know I will make a profit on there without needing the external traffic. But the external traffic is gonna help a ton. The external traffic is like the big play. But yeah, I would say if you're gonna launch a product and if you have the brain with, let's just say you have a partner, throw some units at Amazon, see how it does. Because you can just see how the organic marketing does on there. But at the end of the day, still focus on TikTok. That's the top of funnel, and go crush it. Yeah, this video has been 58 minutes long. Go make a generational wealth. Go make a bag. You go ahead and follow me on everything Varo creates. This is my entire blueprint I'm currently using. I'll probably update this whenever I change something, but honestly, I don't really see something else changing. Like I mentioned, I've been working multiple fast food jobs, multiple construction jobs since I was 14. Now I'm doing this full time and I'm loving it. I haven't had a real job in about 4 years now, I think. So I'm no different than you. I'm no better than you. You could go ahead and crush it. You could do way bigger numbers than me. And there's my entire blueprint. But if you want to work directly with me one on one, there's going to be a link down below. But yeah, hopefully you found this helpful and you go make $1 million brand and you just say shout out to Varo Creates. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching and I'll catch you on the next one.